You're paralyzed. It's been hours. Your neck is stiff, your eyes are burning from the blue light, and your thumb is still twitching, scrolling through an endless feed of nothingness. You aren't even reading the captions anymore. You're just looking for a hit of something that doesn't exist. But the real horror starts when you finally lock your phone. The silence of the room hits you, and with it comes a crushing, familiar weight: guilt. A visceral, sickening feeling in the pit of your stomach that whispers, "Look at you, another day sacrificed to the algorithm. You're falling behind, you're losing your life." And then you do the most irrational thing possible, because that guilt is too heavy to carry. You pick the phone back up. You go back to the scroll to numb the pain of the guilt caused by the scroll. Welcome to the feedback loop of the modern ghost. Today, we aren't talking about time management. We're talking about why you are using self-hatred as a survival mechanism, and why your brain has forgotten how to be human. The core of this problem lies in what we can call the limbo state, a place where you are neither living nor resting. You see, true rest is an active choice. It's sitting in a chair, watching the rain, or sleeping because your body needs it. It has a beginning and an end. But the infinite scroll is a gray zone. You're conscious enough to feel the passage of time, but too distracted to claim it. You feel guilty because you are essentially cheating your own soul. You are giving it the illusion of a break, while actually putting your brain through a neurological marathon. Every 15-second video is a context switch. Your brain is working overtime to process new faces, new sounds, and new emotions. By the time you stop, you have the mental fatigue of an 8-hour shift with none of the results. This guilt is actually your body's alarm system telling you that you are starving for silence, but you're feeding it noise. This leads us into a dangerous trap of self-flagellation acting as an ego defense, what we often call Jald al-Dhat. Let's look at that voice in your head, the one that calls you lazy or worthless the moment you snap out of a scroll. We often mistake this voice for an inner coach trying to get us back on track, but in reality, it's a form of moral licensing. By hating yourself, you feel like you are paying for your mistake. You think to yourself, as long as I feel bad about wasting time, I'm still a good, ambitious person. It's a sophisticated trap. Self-flagellation is actually a comfortable place to hide, because as long as you are busy hating yourself, you don't have to do the terrifyingly hard work of actually changing. You spend all your energy on the punishment, leaving zero energy for the action. You've turned your guilt into a performance for an audience of one. You aren't trying to improve, you're just trying to satisfy a psychological need to feel miserable because you've been conditioned to think misery equals productivity. This psychological state is directly linked to what we call dopamine debt and the resulting shame spiral. Every time you scroll, you are taking out a high-interest loan on your future happiness. That cheap dopamine isn't free. It comes at the cost of your baseline satisfaction. When you finish a scrolling session, your dopamine levels drop below where they started. This is the come down. This physical discomfort is exactly where the guilt finds its home. Your brain is literally in a state of withdrawal, and it frames that physical discomfort as a moral failure. You tell yourself, I feel bad, therefore I must be bad. This shame spiral is what keeps the faceless industry alive. You feel so low that the idea of starting a real task, like writing that report or cleaning your room, feels like climbing Mount Everest. So you look for the easiest way to feel okay again. And where do you find it? Back in the screen. The guilt doesn't stop the behavior, it fuels the next cycle. You are using the poison as the cure. But perhaps the deepest reason we stay in this loop is the fear of the unfiltered self. Why do we choose the guilt of the scroll over the peace of just sitting there? Because sitting there is dangerous. When you put the phone down and stop the noise, the self starts to speak.
All the anxieties you've been burying, the fear of failure, the loneliness, the uncertainty of your future, they all rise to the surface in the silence. The guilt of wasting time is actually preferable to the terror of facing your own life. We scroll because we are afraid of what we'll hear if we listen to our own thoughts. The guilt you feel about the wasted hour is a convenient distraction from the dread you feel about your entire existence. You aren't addicted to the phone, you're terrified of the silence. We must also acknowledge the industrialization of your attention. This isn't just a personal failing. You are fighting against a trillion-dollar industry designed to bypass your willpower. Your guilt is their engagement metric. They want you to feel just enough dissatisfaction that you don't leave the platform, but not enough that you actually fix your life. They have mapped your brain's weaknesses better than you have. When you sit there feeling guilty, you are actually losing a war against thousands of engineers whose only job is to make sure you never look away. Your guilt is a human response to a digital prison. So how do you break a loop that is built into your biology? You have to stop trying to guilt yourself into discipline. It hasn't worked for the last 5 years, and it won't work today. Guilt is heavy luggage. You can't run a marathon while carrying it. The next time you catch yourself at the end of a 2-hour scroll, don't scream at yourself. Don't call yourself names. Just breathe. Acknowledge that you were looking for an escape and you got lost. The most radical, intelligent thing you can do is to forgive yourself instantly. Not because you're lazy, but because forgiveness is the only thing that removes the weight, allowing you to actually stand up. The phone is a mirror, and the guilt is the crack in it. If you want to see yourself clearly, you have to be willing to sit in the quiet, even if it hurts, and even if you've wasted the whole day. Because a day isn't wasted if you finally learn how to stop punishing yourself for being human. Are you brave enough to be bored, or is the guilt the only thing making you feel alive?